Hey everybody, I wanted to do a little video on a knife today. This is going to a customer of mine, Cary, who is in Texas. Now Cary, this is actually a replacement knife. He had purchased a Stormcrow last year, and as part of my commitment to my customers, I have an insurance policy basically that I'll treat you with the best customer service that I possibly can. And it's part of my basic policy of decency, which is kind of an informal contract between myself and my customer. The policy of decency is that I'm going to do the best that I can for my customer, making sure that they're happy, making sure they get a knife that they can depend on, that they can really love and enjoy, for a lifetime. And it's really important to me because they invest in my business, they invest in me personally, and they keep a roof over my head. I mean, I look at it as having a bunch of different bosses, and I'm working with a client, and they're really important to me because they're paying my bills, they're making sure I got money to feed my family, and to keep a roof over my head, like I said. So it's important. And Cary had bought a Stormcrow, and it just wasn't working out for him. It was pretty beat up when I got it back, heavily used. I think he's a rancher, and he sent in a couple knives actually. A Mark 10 that was pretty nasty. Man, it was really gunked up. It had been through a lot, and the beautiful thing was it was still working great. Mark 10s are super durable knives. They last forever. His knife was rusting out, and it had basically had like sweat or something like that, and there were reticulations and bead blasted reticulations on the blade, like a Borka, the way that people do that chiseled finish. I had done a chisel finish on a couple of knives, including that one, and it was like rusting out, and so I refinished the whole knife and I sent that back to him. But his Stormcrow that he sent in, it had suffered some damage and really needed to be replaced. And part of the issue is on Stormcrows, because of the way that the stop pin is, I needed a little bit more reinforcement. And for Cary, because he's using his knives on a daily basis, he's really treating them hard. I decided that it would just be better to go ahead and give him a Banshee. This is a really nice knife. The Banshees have been doing great for me. Super durable. The titanium cage up here has been really a fantastic development for these knives. And so what I did was I just said, okay, what we're going to do is build you a Banshee and replace your knife for free. So he sent in a used Stormcrow. He's getting back a free upgrade to a brand new Banshee, and I wanted to just kind of show you the knife. This is it. It's a one-for-one facsimile of what he had sent in, minus the fact that I added pivot collars on his, because that's how I roll. I think it just looks a little bit nicer. Put some gray G10 pivot collars, nothing too fancy or anything like that, but added a little extra feature. The Banshee model is a little bit more expensive than the Stormcrow, because of the way that it's machined, the way that it's made. The spindle lock is a little bit more expensive to make, but again, I don't really care that much. My customer's happiness is more important to me than making a buck. So this is what I built. His Stormcrow originally had a hand rub satin finish, and so that's what we did here. So you can see that there. Really beautiful satin finish on this Banshee. And his was early enough that it didn't even have the titanium hardware on it. If I remember right, his was like one of the very first ones, and so it had stainless steel. I went ahead and upgraded that all to titanium. So we've got the new T8s on there. Switched from the T6s to the T8s. I like keeping my screws consistent. This is a thing that I've often kind of like scratched my head about with like hinderers, for example, why they have so many different types of screws on a knife. And so I like having just as few types of screws as possible. If I could run T15s on this, I would, but they'd be hilariously huge. So I've got T8s for all the body screws and the pocket clip, and then I've got T15s for the pivot and the spindle lock itself. Nice thick blade, you can see perfectly centered. And then I've polished the area where the spindle runs, so it's super smooth. It locks up nice, and then it just closes under its own weight. Again, spindle lock is a fantastic locking system. It's not just an axis lock. It's a little bit different. The way that it takes down, you pull one screw out here and you can push it out. There's no connecting, actually physical connection between this and the springs, so you can actually remove the springs with some tweezers pretty easily. You know, and it will basically, once you get the spindle out, you can pull the springs out and change them out if you need to. It's environmentally sealed, so it doesn't get any dirt or crap up in there. You don't have to worry about it. Basically, since Cary's going to be carrying this on a daily basis, or actually I believe this knife is going to his son, because he's going to be carrying this on a daily basis, he needs something that's going to keep pocket lint and dirt and debris and sweat and mud and all that crap out of the action here. And the fact that the spindle lock has that where the axis lock doesn't is a big advantage. And of course it's uber smooth. You can do the axis lock type flip. You do have to hold both sides of it, and when you close this, you need to make sure that you grab it and pull it back and hold it back so that the thing can actually clear its retention notch. But you know, other than that, it's a really super easy to use little locking system. It functions more or less just like an axis lock in terms of the actual physical interface between you and the locking system. But like I said, the mechanicals on the inside are very different. Coil springs in there. Again, I've kind of given the vital statistic. It's kind of important to kind of reiterate it, though. Durability on this thing is so much better than an axis lock. You know, I've run the numbers. According to Benchmade specs, they say it's good for about 10,000 cycles. Mine are good for about 100 million. I actually misread the statistic. I originally thought it was 10 million, but actually the spring manufacturer that I use states that they're good for 100 million cycles. So it's a lifetime spring, basically. And if it ever goes bad on you, if it's ever an issue, you know, I do free spring replacements, and then beyond that, so I will send you a new spring. It's not a problem. That's not an issue at all. You don't have to send it in to me. It's super easy to change out. You just need a Torx driver. Again, one screw, pop it out, your spring will come out. You don't have to take anything else apart. It's super easy to change out. You can do it in 30 seconds. It's really, really convenient. And of course, we've got the nice ceramic ball insert there for the pocket clip. Just a nice knife, man. Banshees are great, and I've had such great luck with these knives. Everybody loves them. Super proud. They've just been so phenomenally stable and solid. You know, don't have issues. You know, I never see it, and it's just fantastic. You know, on occasion with some of the older knives, like every now and again, I'd get something that needed to be corrected or fixed or whatever, because you know, it's just like, okay, well, it's a precision hand-built thing, so on occasion there's something that just goes wrong. But on the Banshees, they're just so freaking solid. Nothing goes wrong with them. You know, the locks are incredible, super smooth, easy to use. They're just really, really great knives. They're the kind of knife that you buy and hold on to and just use the crap out of it, because it's just going to take it. And like I said, I've just been super happy with these things. Let me go over here in the light. You can see also this scale material. This is red Twill Texalium. And for those of you guys who are unfamiliar with Texalium, it's a really cool material. This is made specifically for me by a craftsman named Ryan Davis, who owns a company called Composite Craft. And probably shouldn't tell you where I get all my sources, because now everybody's going to go do it. But it's a great material. It's super light. It's basically the same weight as carbon fiber, but it is less prone to chipping in my experience. The only thing that I will tell you about Texalium you need to look out for is it does not like direct sunlight for a long period of time. It tends to turn yellow if you have the silver twill stuff, but with the red and the greens and the colored twills and whatnot, that's not such an issue. But it's super strong, super light. It's one of the best materials that you can make a frame out of if you construct knives like I do with this kind of clamshell construction. I can't imagine a better material, to be honest with you. Even carbon fiber. Carbon fiber is prone to chipping. It's not as durable as Texalium in my experience. I would take this over CF any day of the week. It's a little more expensive, but it's worth it. And you know, if you're going to order a knife from me, I would highly recommend taking a look at some of the Texalium materials that I offer. This stuff is just great, and I'll either list it as Texalium or Twill. If you look at that, that's basically what this is, and it's amazing stuff, man. It's just great, and I use all sorts of this stuff. Some of it comes with glow material. This one does not. What I'll tell you is red glow materials, right now, it's kind of a European pigment that they use to create the glow effect. But because of the light intensity of red and the spectrum of colors, if you think about it, red is the very, very lowest. It does not want to give off a whole lot of light, and not for very long. So red is not a super bright glow material. Green is a pretty intense glow. Blue is actually still pretty intense too. And you'd think violet would be super bright too, but no, violet actually kind of strays into the UV band, and so just because of the way that that particular material glows, it's not a particularly good candidate either. So green is the best, and then blue I'd say is probably the next best, but red, I don't offer glow red because it's just, there's no point. But it's still a really cool material even without the glow pigment. So, and of course it's got the pivot collars on there. Not something he had on his original knife, because at that time, again, I didn't offer storm crows with pivot collars, so I just went ahead and did that complimentary, no problems. And he's getting a hand-sewn case with it too, which is kind of cool actually. This is the only one I've ever done that's a two-tone. It's black and red on one side, and the other, and it's got the engraving there. I like it a lot, man. I think it looks really good. Cool package. Thanks, Cary. I appreciate it. Thanks for your business, and you know, I certainly appreciate that. It's like I said, it's important to me that I take care of my existing customers and treat them with the absolute best customer service that I can do. I understand this particular rebuild took a little bit longer than I really had hoped. Part of that is due to the holidays and also retramming my milling machine, which had me down for a couple of weeks while I waited for a tech to get out to my shop and do that. You know, unfortunately, sometimes, you know, you have to you have to maintain your devices and your machines, otherwise it's just not going to turn out well. But this turned out great, and I'm super happy about it. So, like I said, I'm going to ship this on out to Cary, and I certainly appreciate it. If any of you guys are interested in getting one of my knives, you can swing by either my website, www.willmooncustomknives.com, or I'm starting to add stocking dealers, which is really exciting. My first is the hollowgrind.com. Dave over there does a really great job. Super nice guy. I've got a lot of confidence in Dave. I think he's a really great partner to work with. And he is starting to carry my knives. So go over there and ask him about Will Moon knives. Definitely super excited about working with Dave. Like I said, he's a great guy, so I think you're going to have a really good experience with him. The hollowgrind.com. And yeah, I really appreciate everybody watching. Thanks for all the support, guys. Sticking with me through the holidays, and certainly hope everybody's having a good New Year. See you later. Bye.